pronounce your last name?
Labbe.
Labbe.
Yeah, I get a lot of labes.
A lot of labes?
Yeah, a lot of labes.
I don't know you well enough to start cracking some dirty jokes. I don't know.
That's fine.
But I believe it alone. So first off, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing excellent. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm moderately okay. Just trying to keep out of the heat. I'm in Arizona, and we're triple digits, so it's fun.
Well,
times.
I'm in Maine, and it's hit 90 the last 3 days, which is absurd for Maine in early June.
Well, of course, I wouldn't know. Maine is the only state in all 50 states that I have not been to now.
So you haven't been to all 50 states then?
I haven't been. Yes, I haven't been to all 50 states. That's
you hit New Hampshire, but you didn't pop into Maine.
For whatever reason it was, I wasn't in control of the vehicle. So it was Maine and Alaska, and then 2018 I got an invite to go do a Comic-Con convention in Anchorage. So I said I had.
Oh, nice.
So
I would love to go to every state myself.
So it's just I'll be back there again for Halloween this year.
Oh, there you go. So. Well, I mean, if you like conventions, the Bangor Comic-Con's in October. Is it October or November this year? But we have that one basically. Okay.
Well, if I can get a hold of a promoter out there, it's like that. I've got talent. I'm sure they might like to have. It'd be fun to do that out there. So any excuse to get out there just to check it off my list and have something good to eat.
Well, at this point, I think you need to,
I do. I mean, yeah. 49 out of the way, I might as well go for number 50. Why not?
And it's landlocked. I mean, it's part of the lower 48. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I started my quest after I used to live in Hawaii, so it became pretty easy from that point forward. So,
yeah, that would make it easier.
So just back when I was a kid, but hey, that's not what we're talking about. We're just going off the rails already. It's like that. I have you on today because you have made a very interesting find available to the wonderful world of wrestling trading cards. We had never seen this before, and that era of cards of 1998 through 2002 is directly in my wheelhouse of collecting too. So
okay,
for me to find, or anybody to find and hear about this Mike Enos card showing up out of nowhere and hitting the market is really, really cool and bizarre. First off,
yeah,
how did you get your hands on such a card?
Okay, so I'm a unique card collector in respects that I'm not a set collector. I used to be a set collector back in the day. I'd want to collect all the sets, and now I'm not a set collector anymore.
What is back in the day for you?
I'm 42 here in a couple weeks, so I'm 90s, mid to late 90s, early 2000 time frame. I collected, I had every set. That was my goal. And there was less card sets then, incidentally, to collect. Mm-hmm. But I was a set collector then. And my favorite card set, and it still is to this day to get signed, is the 1988 NWA Wonderama cards. Mm-hmm. And then the 85 WWF Topps and O-Pee-Chee cards. Nice. I love getting those cards signed. Or in any of the ECW ones that came with the original San Francisco Toymaker figures.
Sure.
But I'm not a set collector. I collect what can I get signed. So if a wrestler has passed away, I give those cards away essentially. Like I've never tried to money grab on cards until recently.
Yeah. Until recently.
But yeah, and I've never sold. I've only ever sold one card that I got signed before. Now, because it's what I would like to do. I have over 1,000 signed cards.
Nice.
And I don't buy any cards off eBay that are signed. I don't buy signed cards from other people, and I don't typically go for autograph inserts and packs or anything of that nature. All my cards, about 99.9% of my over 1,000 signed cards I have, I get either in person directly from the wrestlers or through the mail directly from the wrestlers.
Okay.
So I'm a through the mail guy, but I'm a through the mail guy with permission.
Of course.
Except when I send to the Performance Center or, something like that. But like if I never just blind send to someone's home, I ask, I message them first or somehow or whatever.
But in question now for me, I want to know, like everybody else, where did you get this card in your possession?
Okay, so I mailed cards to Mike Enos. I had two Beverly Brothers cards from one of the Merlin sets from Italy, I believe. And it was just Beverly Brothers. And so I mailed the cards to Mike Enos and with a letter saying, hey, would you please sign these cards? Thank you very much, blah, blah, blah. And then I actually had checked your site, the Wrestling Trading Card checklist website, which I even used last week to look up cards for those older sets. And there was no other cards for Mike Enos out there, you know, and a lot of times there's some Japanese cards maybe we don't know about. So in my letter, I asked him, hey, do you have any other trading cards under any other monikers? Because my favorite thing in the world to do is to get cards signed by wrestlers under their different gimmicks, under their different names, under the different promotions, you know?
Yeah.
So like Cactus Jack, for example, I have a 1992 WCW magazine card signed by him. I have an FMW BBM card from Japan signed by him as Cactus Jack. And then for WWE, I have a Cactus Jack, a Dude Love, a Mankind, and a Mick Foley card, all signed under those names. And I have a TNA Mick Foley card signed by him.
It's
like
so
that's
funny.
what I love to do.
His Mick Foley signature is identical to his Mankind signature.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You know, so that's one of my favorite things to do. So, you know, I asked Mike Enos in my letter, do you have any other cards that were released, you know, besides Beverly Brothers? And I don't know, a month or two later, I get my cards back in the mail from him, and there's no letter, there's no note, there's no nothing. There's just my Beverly Brothers card signed and this WCW card. I was like, oh, wow, that was really nice of him, you know, and that was the end of it. That was probably 12, 13 years ago, 14 years ago now. I mean, it was a long time ago. And I stuck them in my card collecting binder and I stuck it on the shelf, and there it's been ever since.
Wow. That's like finding like a little brick of gold, you know?
Well, I had no idea it had never been released, or like I said, where I don't collect those type of cards ever, like the autograph insert
and why would you look it up? I mean, why would you possibly look it up?
I just like, oh, okay, cool. I got a Mike Enos one. Well, that's his only WCW card I'm aware of. So great. You know, the only other one of those I had was a Scott Putski card, which my buddy had given me when he was done collecting cards, and I had that. And then I recently sold that actually to Jamie Wallace.
Okay. Yeah.
Because he's trying to build the set, and you know, I'd actually offered that one to Wes Moore previously.
Mm-hmm.
And because I didn't attain it anyway. Like all my cards have a story. Like I can look at every card I have and tell you where I got it, the story behind the card, you know, that's why they mean something to me. And then I was on Twitter, and someone had posted like photos of here's all 104 known WCW cards. And
that'd be Paul. Paul did that.
Yeah. And because I follow like you and Armin and a bunch of other guys, you know, I see how everyone's collecting those WCW sign cards. I knew about the Booker T ones that just came out of nowhere, and then someone had written like, oh, I used to have a Mike Enos card, but I sold it to a collector in Australia years ago.
Yeah.
And someone's like, oh, I've never heard of that one. I'm like, how have you guys ever heard of this? I have one of those. Like and I don't even seek these out. Like so I was like, oh, well, hey, I got one of those. So I went and grabbed my binder off the shelf, took a couple of pictures and threw it up. And then the next thing you know, I'm getting PMs with people offering me
absurd
$500, $600, $700, $1,000, whatever it is for it. And I'm like, what the hell? You know, like, okay.
So then why did you decide to sell? Did the money get too good for you? Is that what it was?
It got too tempting. Yes. It got way too tempting, you know?
But you didn't end up doing a straight sell. You ended up putting up for auction, kind of let everybody have a shot at it.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing too, because like, see, I actually still feel guilty about this because Wes Moore was like, I would give you $50 a month for the rest of my life if you could somehow work out a deal. And I was like, and I was tempted. I was tempted to be like the nice guy and be like, this is a guy who's really passionate about collecting the series. I know I've been watching him collect it for a couple of years now, probably on Twitter.
I had him on an episode talking about how he's running it up. And I want to talk to Jamie as well, because he just started, but he's made such a headway
splash
already that it's like, I still want to have my, actually, I want to have both of them on. I want to have both of them on together and talk about their different approaches to, you know, that's a whole different subject, but.
Oh yeah. So I thought about it and the money got real tempting. And then someone was like, you could probably get, you know, big money for it. And I was like, do I put it up? Do I not put it up? And then
you could have easily made this a private sale to somebody and just nobody would have known the better, really.
Yes.
Like they probably would have hit you up and they would have said, hey, do you still have it? Hey, you still have it? No, you know, it's not for sale or whatever you could have said, just like that. Yeah. But you put it out publicly and everybody got to see it, and then you let it run. And what did it end up going for, like $1,800 or something like that?
$1,835. Yeah. And then eBay took $251.
That's good eBay. Good for them, right? That's why they're in business.
Yeah, here's the thing. I thought about it, and realistically, I thought, all right, I've had this card for like 14 years. It's just been sitting in this binder. I got that cool little story about how he just sent it to me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm not passionate about this collection. Someone out there is passionate about this collection, and this would be a great find for them.
It's almost a grail card for some people, it would seem like. I mean, right now it's a one of one. It's not the same value as the Ric Flair one that went out, years ago, which was so far to this day only one known. But
yeah. And then Booker T finds a ton of them. And didn't his go for like $5,000 or something like that? That seemed
there's still some stories to be told there, I think, too.
Fair enough. So I don't know. I just thought the card market's big right now.
Yep.
I could keep it in my binder and leave it there. And maybe a few years from now, and the card market might go down in the next few years. And then maybe no one will care about it. Maybe they do. But it got such a big response. And all the private messages, I got people offering me like $500, $1,000, et cetera, stuff like that. I just thought like, I wonder how much
you care to share at the highest value if someone offered you.
It was less than the 1835. Okay. Yeah. I think 1,300, 1,400. And I thought if someone's going to offer that privately, maybe someone would pay more for that. And again, it wasn't a cash grab for me as much. It was like, someone's going to appreciate this more than I do.
Are you okay with what the price you got for it?
Yeah, I am.
Did you have a price like in mind that you thought you might get? Like you're like, man, if it gets like 2,000, that'd be awesome, or 3,000 would be awesome. Because you just said you had the Booker T one out there, and again, this is not a Booker T, a performer.
No.
So, but no disrespect, but still, it's a one of a one card right now. I mean, no one's ever seen it, so it's like it could potentially go for that kind of money.
Right. I had no idea what I might go for. And I'm not one to want to speculate or get my hopes up because like I might feel like, oh, this is definitely what it's going to be now. So no, I just thought I'll probably get at least $1,000 for it. eBay will take their big chunk of fees. And then it's like, what do I do with the money after that? I have it sitting in an envelope in my bureau drawer because I don't know what I want to do with it yet.
Okay. Well, it could be good for some future through the mail autographs.
Well, actually, I was talking to my buddy today.
Or conventions to go to, because, I mean, you're on the East Coast.
Okay.
So you have like, old Greg Price's NWA Fan Fest or Marty's The Gathering or, these big events that you can meet some of those legends at.
We went to NWA Legends Fan Fest in 2009, and I got spoiled over how amazing a convention could be, how price efficient it could be.
Surprised we didn't run into each other. I was there too.
Well, the Horsemen, like the Horsemen.
Yeah.
So my buddy who lives down in Mass, he's real big on wanting to meet Sting. And yesterday, Russell Cade announced they were going to have Sting there. Mm-hmm. And I've always I have had an affection for Wendy Richter since I was a kid, because I was a big fan of hers as a kid. And she's sort of an enigma to me where, like, as I kind of got of age in my early teens, she disappeared from wrestling essentially, and she's just someone that I've always was kind of a fan of. Wendy Richter's going to be at WrestleCade. So Arn Anderson, JJ Dillon, a bunch of other guys as well. But so attempted to go to WrestleCade really, because he wants to meet Sting and I want to meet Sting. And so like, flights like $450, hotels like $3 something. When you start splitting stuff, $1,500 would be really great to have,
Yeah, there you go.
to take down to WrestleCade in Winston-Salem in November.
Right. It pays for all your expenses for travel, basically. And then some.
Yeah. So it's right. So that's why I set it aside to do something with, but like I wouldn't sell any of my other cards.
Like my other cards. Unique, yeah. Like you said, everyone has a story on these cards, and you still have the story of how you acquired this Mike Enos cards like that. But it's not something you really got in person. So
no, and it's not like one of my all-time favorites either. It was just sort of kind of unique, and like I said, it's just been sitting in a binder. When I have these discussions with, when I have these discussions with friends and buddies about favorite cards or what are your favorite cards you ever had or whatever, never once has that ever even crossed my mind. And
it will now.
I didn't even. Well, yeah, and I didn't even. I wasn't even sure. I have like multiple card binders, and I couldn't even remember which one it was in when I went to go look for it to take the pictures to throw them up on Twitter. Because again, I'm like, how is this rare? I have one of these.
And if I got
So,
one, I mean, somebody else has got to have one too. I mean,
well, if he sent me ones, like other people may have asked him, or he brought them to conventions or whatever, or
it might now.
but evidently not.
I'm sure after people start seeing this, they might start doing that now.
Yeah.
It could be a
who
way.
knows?
I mean, a Wes or a Jamie could do the same thing now and just kind of like send a letter, and who knows? I mean, maybe he has. Yeah. I'm curious to know how many he actually has. I'd love to know how many he has.
Well, that was the thing. It'd be neat to know. And I'm actually now curious if there's anybody else out there, because if Mike Enos had one.
Yeah.
Again, well, I mean, like you said, no disrespect.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a list of people. I think Jamie even went and did the homework recently too to find put a list together of people who were in the organization at that time who we've never seen a card of. I mean, for the longest time, we always thought, Warrior would be an excellent one. Bischoff. There was even rumor of like possibly, I bet maybe Ted Turner has one. I mean, nobody knows. I mean, nobody knows. And I've interviewed guys.
Turner signed card.
You do you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mailed him a card. I mailed him a card last year. There's like a Topps like history moment. It's like about CNN, but he's on the front. I mailed it to his foundation, and I got it back in the mail like 2 or 3 weeks later, signed.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
So
another rarity right there, I think. That's pretty cool.
So So
I mean, there's got to be a laundry list of people from that time frame. You're talking 98, 99 over 3 different releases. The way it broke down at that time was 37, 37, and 27 for each release as far as what was actually Pat pulled. Now we have, and because this Enos card has the basically the Nitro logo version of it on, the later logo.
Yeah.
It's wondering if this particular one was scheduled to be released in, sometime in that second release, that Nitro set.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I didn't consider that.
Because I mean, you look at the ones with the NWO WCW logo; those were predominantly from this set, but mostly of Series 1 from '98. Then '99 we have this logo, but the date on the back of this, I believe, is '98. It's '98.
Yeah, I think it's 90. Yeah,
99. Is that '99?
It's 99. Yeah.
So this could have been part of the Embossed.
It is 99.
This is a part of the Embossed set, probably.
Yeah.
Which was a set that came out in '99, and I think that's almost all Nitro logo version. So this logo kind of.
And I'm curious when he signed it too. Like, did he have these signs sitting around? Like, did he get the cards and he signed them and then didn't send them back? Did he get the cards and didn't sign them? They just been sitting in a box and like he pulled one out and wrote his name on it when he signed my other cards.
I wonder how approachable he is. I would love to have this guy on an episode and talk about it. I mean, I wonder.
Yeah.
I'm looking to talk to anybody who had cards back then. I mean, I plan on talking to Kevin Nash and asking him, but we're talking over 20 years ago, and these guys have traveled the road and so much stuff. They're not going to remember stuff. I even talked to Brian Clark because I had him on recently, and he signed as Wrath, and I showed him pictures of it. And he recalled the card, but he doesn't know how many he signed. He can't remember even where he signed them. Just that. Oh yeah, I remember these cards.
Yeah, well, it's just the world's so different now with Facebook and Twitter and everything like that. Like you see wrestlers like, hey, look, I'm signing cards for the set.
Sure.
And they're showing them sign them. Or you think about, like, I heard like Matt Cardona on his podcast talking about how he saw, I think on eBay, one of his cards, a signed card of his that he'd never seen before. And what it was is like he had signed so many stickers for Topps that they just started making a card and putting a sticker on it.
Yep.
That he had signed. Yeah. So
it's amazing that a lot of talent don't end up seeing. That's why I even asked Brian too. I says, there's got to be some stuff over the years while you're traveling. They just keep putting your image on things. Whether it be figures or T-shirts or posters or lunch pails or whatever. I mean, I'm sure it's probably difficult for them to remember everything they're on. There's a lot of things after all these years ago. I've never seen this before. I don't need to have this in my collection. I mean, I've worked with talent before where a fan would come to the table and bring them something. They go, hey, can I trade you something on my table for this? I want to have this. I've never seen it before. I want to have it,
Well, it's funny you say that. The reason why I got into card collecting was because in 2003, my first ever signed card I got in 1997 from Ric Flair at a signing when Nitro tickets went on sale in Boston, and him and the Giant did a signing later on. I brought a Ric Flair card with me. That was my first one. I love Ric Flair. But in 2003, I was on vacation down in Connecticut, and I went to this wrestling show that Terry Funk appeared on. And I didn't bring anything with me. I'll buy an 8x10 or whatever, because that was what I'd been doing. And he had nothing. He didn't have any 8x10s. He had sold out the day before. He had his Funk You t-shirt, but he only had size medium. I'm clearly not a medium guy. I got my picture with him, but that was it. And so after that, I was like, well, I'm got to figure something out. So I started bringing trading cards to shows because you can put them in a case in your pocket. So it's not bulky. They don't get bent like an 8x10. So that's why I got into collecting trading cards to begin with, to get signed. So what I do a lot of times is I will bring all my extras. And I'll bring and be like, hey, will you sign these 2 cards for me? And hey, do you want this pile of extra cards I have? And the reason why I started doing that is because I went to a big time wrestling show in 2006 and Antonio Thomas was there. And I had 4 of his WWE cards at the time. And he had never seen them before, didn't know they existed. And when I showed him the cards, because I had 2 of them, I asked him if he could sign for me. And he's like, can I have one of these? And I was like, actually, you can have these too. And he was so pumped, and he signed the cards for me, and he didn't charge me or anything, which was nice of him. So then I just started bringing my extras with me to give to the wrestlers in case they wanted them or didn't have them. And 9 times out of 10, they're very grateful and they take them. Sometimes, like Virgil, I see him sign and sell them immediately, but other times they're like, yes, thank you very much. I'd like to have these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to make jokes about when my daughter was younger. It's like that because my daughter's gonna be 27 this year. You say, yeah, I mean, Virgil signs everywhere, man. He probably signs at my kids' PTA meetings, for crying out loud. So who knows? I mean, you have it's over 1,000 cards. You have signs like that. I mean, who knows what other treasure you probably have? Dude, when you went through this, did you go through do I have any other autograph cards from those sets, from those 3 WCW sets? I mean, do you have any other ones?
I mean, I have I guess you would call them the base cards signed.
Okay, but you have none of those official autograph cards.
No, I had just the Mike Enos, and I had the Scott Putski.
Okay, Putski.
And that was it. The only other official autograph cards I have are when Impact released one of their card sets, the wax coating was terrible and Sharpies wouldn't stay on it. You'd sign it and it'd just disappear.
Yep.
So I sent them an email basically complaining about it. How do we fix this, et cetera? Now you gotta rub the card down real hard with your thumb first and then sign it. So they sent me a Jeremy Borash card, an official autographed Jeremy Borash cat. I was like, hey, sorry.
I had jokes there, but I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah. And then I had an Ayako Hamada TNA one.
Okay.
Official one. I did buy one on the internet. For years, I tried to get a card signed by Dynamite Kid, and then I could never make it work, never make it happen. And then after he passed away, I bought a Leaf, Dynamite Kid one.
Just to
have that is one I bought because I love Dynamite Kid, so I wanted to have that card in my collection. But otherwise, every other card I have are basically base cards, as you would call it.
Do you go out and buy individual cards, or do you buy a complete base set and then you just use that base set as your starting point to go out and get autographs?
Years ago, I'd buy the base set, but now with eBay, we can buy individual cards, or Husker Halves website.
Sure.
I just buy individual cards typically. I did buy the TNA set that they just released yesterday.
Same here.
I did buy that. I've bought when Brian did the PWG sets. I bought those from him because those were like the first independent cards. Like people didn't have independent cards,
They were far and few between anyways, but that's sort of like, and I interviewed him on here too, because that set's kind of credited as being like what started this independent craze,
Yes. Yeah, it really is. Those are first PWG sets. I bought those. And then I bought every PWG set actually. And then I think I bought a couple of the Joey Ryan Spring Break, but then there's so many independent card sets now that they're just flooding the market with them. Mm-hmm. So I don't buy the sets. I buy individual cards because realistically, I don't know, if I have a single Joey Janela independent card sign, how many more do I need? I mean, if it was one of my favorites, all of them.
Sure.
But I stopped kind of buying the sets because it does get expensive. You price yourself out.
Well, when they come out the gate right away, they're pretty inexpensive. Now they're expensive now.
Yes. Like the TNA set's $30. I keep calling it TNA. The
Impact set.
Impact Wrestling set. It's $30. You get 11 cards. You get the 10 base cards in the set, and then you get one of the autographs.
And the 10 base cards are scattered throughout the numbering sequence too, so that there's going to be other series coming out to fill in those numbering sequences. So
really? Yeah, it is. I didn't know that.
It's like number 4, 22, 46, 16, stuff like that.
Okay. So from when I read it, I thought there was only 10 cards in the set. And you got all 10 cards.
You do. You get 10 cards in Series 1 set, but they're going to be. It's an ongoing set. You
Series 2 set.
You think it'd be a 1 through 9 or 1 through 10, something like that, but it's not. It's actually like scattered throughout. Matter of fact, they did tweet that today about the numbering, and I already had the numbers. I put the checklist up on the site last night.
Okay. All right.
But you won't see it because it's not on the new. It's not on the new site yet. It's on the new site, which you won't see yet. It's hasn't been released yet.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I look forward to when you release it.
I'm looking for it right now, as a matter of fact. So go ahead.
So I mean, I bought that, but if I get a Brian Myers or a Moose signed card, I'll probably sell it. I'd keep the Deanna, honestly. But
nice girl.
I mostly just collect what I. Well, I think I have one of hers signed. I have a few Brian Myers signed. I got it like a. Brian Myers, Kurt Hawkins. I got his Major Brothers card. I think it's a Slam Attack actually. So yeah, I just mostly buy what I can get signed.
Those are popular right now as well. Slam Attacks. I can't find it, but I can find it. I can tell you based on the numbering sequence right now. Let me go find them right now. So it's okay. There he is. I knew I'd find it. I knew I would. So it looks like the set's like number 4. It starts off like number 4, it's Christian Cage. Then it has number 11, Brian Myers. Number 12 is Deanna. Number 13 is Moose. Number 15 is Carl Anderson. Number 16, Eric Young. 17. So it basically has 4, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20.
Okay.
And then the Moose card is supposedly, it looks like it's numbered M3.
Okay. Oh, maybe because the autograph ones are numbered differently.
Yeah, I mean, that's so far the unofficial checklist right now. But I've already put in a request with Impact to get that kind of clarified. But we'll see. I'm in no hurry. So I mean, site's always going to be growing anyway. So
yeah, growing and expanding. Yeah. So, but that's my primary thing. What can I get signed?
So I guess a lesson to be learned here, it's like that, is if you got somebody from that time frame that possibly might have a WCW autograph card, hey, maybe it's time to send something through the mail to them and say, hey.
Do you have any of these cards?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to ask, right? Because the worst thing they can say is no.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
have you ever heard of the Rookies app on like iPads and iPhone?
No.
It allows you to make your own trading card. You can design your own face. They have some set patterns, but you can do your own wording, drawing your own front, design your own back and everything. So I actually made a few of those to send to people that have never had a trading card.
Okay.
Because, I would like to have something signed by them for the historical reference, if you will.
Sure.
But if they've never had a card released, like I just recently got like Ann Casey, who unfortunately just passed away. Rockin' Robin, I got a card signed by her, but I had made. Buddy Colt, who actually just also passed away. I got one. I made a card signed by him. I just got one back from Paul Diamond. I got him to sign Max Moon stickers.
Do you have examples of these cards that you've made?
Yeah. Do you want me to go grab one?
Sure. Why not? I like to see one.
Oh.
Yeah. This should be fun. I would love to see these cards. Technology these days, man, allow you to make all kinds of cool things. And eventually, oh, here we go.
So I can show them to you here, sure. And then on my my blog, The Wrestling Insomniac, I post all my pick cards up there.
Cool.
That I get signed. So this is one I made of Pat Tanaka and Paul Diamond, AWA Tag Team Champions. On the top, it's them as Bad Company. On the bottom, it's them as the Orient Express.
Oh, very cool.
And so Paul Diamond signed Paul Diamond and then Kato.
Nice.
And then I just got
like?
these. So the back looks like this.
Okay.
It's backwards probably for you.
Nope, it's
but
right.
AWA World Tag Team Champions. It says, Bad Company, Orient Express, Tag Team Wrestling, the promotions they wrestled for up the top. It's a nice, good, thick card. It's well made, printed well. So I sent one for him, say, here, you can have this, and can I get you to sign this? And then I got, the Max Moon sticker, signed Max Moon.
Gotcha.
Add to my collection. And then this was another one I did, which I always wonder why AWA never had a card set. So I made this one.
They had stuff that came out in magazines where like kind of they merged in with other sets like NWA and WWF,
but
not by itself.
Yeah, right. So I made this High Flyers one.
Oh, that's cool.
This one's signed by Jim Brunzell. I have one in my binder that's signed by both of them. Because Jim Brunzell sent back both cards. So I made that one. And again, the back, just, Greg Gagne and Jumping Jim Brunzell, 2-time AWA and WWC Tag Team Champions, 1982.
So do you design them yourself like that? Or does the app help you design that stuff?
So the app has like these guidelines for like the faces. That's why these are both different. And you just kind of insert your own text and pictures. So there is some limitation to what you can do. And then, the backs, I do the same back because I really like the way this back looks. So I do the same back for both of them, for all my cards, if you will. And again, there's text limitations to what you can put in there.
What is that logo thing down in the blue?
So that says Rookies. That's the company that makes the app. And then it just says copyright 2015 Rookies Card LLC, printed in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you can do more than you expect. You can get real creative on it. You can get real basic. Some of the templates aren't very good, so I've kind of been doing this as well for people that have never had a card or like I do have Jim Brunzell, Killer Bees card signed. I do have Greg Gagne, 82 All-Stars signed, but I like making a tag team card of them and trying to get them both.
Why
signed.
not?
Yeah.
And just sit in your binder, and then do you display any of your favorites?
Nope, I don't. I take the binder out and I look at them from time to time, or my buddies will come over and want to just look at them, or like I said, I post everything on my blog. Maybe sometimes for me it's more the hunt.
It's always been the thrill of the hunt, because once you have it, it's kind of why I stopped collecting myself, was because I got a great thrill of just going after things and completing a set. And once I completed it, I put it in its official binder or my own custom made binder, put it in the closet, and I look at it again,
Right. Yeah. So it's the thrill of the hunt. I mean, when I get an envelope back in the mail that's got my address on it in my handwriting, because I send a self-addressed stamped envelope, I'm like, ooh, I wonder what this is. Yeah. I wonder who this is from,
because you never know who it's from, because you got the return and send, it's your address on it. It's like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a grab bag. Who could it be?
Yeah. And I honestly, my through the mail are people that I don't think I'd ever have the opportunity to meet in person.
Especially those who don't travel anymore or out of the country.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of, or like Bill Mercer. I made a card of his, the old world class ring announcer. He's like, I think he's 91 or 92. I think one of my favorite gets back was Pedro Morales.
Oh, nice.
Because he hadn't signed anymore. He hadn't gone any place anymore. He was kind of, apparently he had Parkinson's or something of that nature as well. So he kind of stayed out of the public eye. But I have 2 cards signed by Pedro Morales. Awesome. I have 2 cards signed by Bruno Sammartino.
Last time I met Bruno probably would be my buddy Sal, who wrote the book for Bruno.
I've got to read it.
Yeah. The Big Cheese. Sal. Love Sal.
Yeah.
He introduced me to him, and he was at one of Greg Price's NWA Fan Fest years ago. And I handed him an 8x10 picture of a belt. You know, he's wearing this belt. It's a great, beautiful picture, and I have it somewhere behind me, I think. And he was so gracious to tell me a cool story about, like, that's not even the real belt. You know, that was a temporary belt that we had before this and that, and they made me take pictures with it, and I hated that belt.
Yeah.
And he was just such a cool, personal guy.
That's awesome. See, that to me is more, that to me is awesome, means more.
Yeah, totally.
You know, it's like I had Larry Zbyszko came to Maine in 2012 for an indie show up here. Like, there was 30 fans. I almost didn't go to my show myself because of where it was. And at the end of the day, I was like, I'm doing nothing else. Going to go to wrestling. Yeah. So I ended up going down, and because there was literally no one there, he was just sitting out at a table, and I went and got a couple cards signed by him. And one of them I had gotten signed by Bobby Heenan earlier that year. And then I had him sign it as well. And he was, oh, have a seat. So I sat down and I just chatted with Bruno Sammartino for like 45 minutes before the show started, you know, and that was just an awesome moment just to hang out with Bruno. That's why I think that NWA Legends Fan Fest in 2009 spoiled me, because my buddy smoked. So he'd go out to the smoking area quite a bit, and I'd go out and just kind of stand around, get some fresh air in the hot North Carolina August heat. But Harley Race would show up and have a smoke, and then now you're sitting there chatting with Harley Race about whatever. And
it was a great show. I loved doing that.
That was such an amazing weekend.
Where'd I go? Like 06 through 09 or something like that, or 05 through 09. But I mean, you get all kinds of great, like that year. One of the years I went, they had he was, you know, Bryan Danielson at the time. And he's wrestling supposed to be like this, you know, here's this, you know, American Dragon guy, so we heard a lot about. And it's like, I watched him wrestle the first night, and I go, I don't really see it. I don't see a whole lot of big scoop about this guy. then I go the next night, you know, he wrestled again the next night. It's like that, and I go, oh, now I see. So, and I got a picture with him down the hallway.
Was that in 07 when he Tully Blanchard had his first retirement match?
Yes,
I guess technically.
Correct. Now? Yes, I think. Who else wrestled that night? It was oh God, I think it was Warlord wrestle. I think that night.
Okay.
And he came around the ringside. And we had ringside seats, so he came around the ring, and you know, we all got to chop him on the chest. So we all got to chop him on the chest. It was great.
Yeah, when I went in 09, I went to that was just, we got the Cornette conversation with Cornette, you know, on Thursday night. And then before that, the Starrcade 25 years later, whatever it was, with Ric Flair and Harley Race. And then we got the Holly Heroes on Friday. Did you do that?
Holly Heroes. I didn't go to the ceremony.
Oh, we did. We sat with Baby Doll.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, well, she says, like, all right, who was your first choice? Because I know it wasn't me. And I was like, actually, ours was Tully Blanchard, Ric Flair, and you. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll take that, because basically you were signing up to sit with me. And I was like, yeah.
She's quite a character.
Yeah. Did you do the Memphis Legends Saturday morning roundtable they did? That was phenomenal.
Mostly,
and then the matches.
Outside of your VIP ticket and then going around the vendor rooms like that, if you just hung out in the lobby, you pretty much got everybody you really wanted to get anyways. Like I've got a lot of pictures with Ole Anderson, because, you know, me and my buddy would go, David Porter, the co-owner of WTC. Yeah. And you know, he had to stand up and he had to lean on both of us, like, to take a picture. But, you know, it's Ole Anderson, man. We got to take a picture with Ole, and, you know, Robert Gibson, and, you know, we got Gary Hart, and, you know, we got so many guys.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I only went the 1 year, but that's how I got pictures with Lance Russell, and Bob Caudle is in the lobby and everything. So
you find Bobby Eaton used to walk around all the time, and he literally would have a pen in his hand. And he goes, "You want me to sign something for you?" So I was like, okay, well, I don't have anything else to get signed. I mean, my buddy David and I would go, and we make these special, and people want to buy them from us. Like, we don't have any. We put them just for ourselves. You know, we make an 8x10 with the NWA, the FanFest logo in the middle of this 8x10, and then the date in the lower right hand corner and stuff like that, and then just get everybody to sign it.
Oh, I made a poster. I got a free trial of Adobe back in 2009. I made a poster, like an event poster, and it had the picture of everybody on it that was on the super ticket. And I had NWA Legends Fan Fest, and at the bottom, Hilton, University Place Hotel, the NWA logo, the Hint logo. I talked about the Holly Heroes, this, and everything. And I printed two, one for me and one for my buddy. And we went around and we got that signed by, that was one of our autographs for the super ticket. And that's something that's framed on my wall that I will never, ever, ever, ever,
And,
ever
and,
sell.
I'll bet you got hit up by multiple people going, "Where'd you get that?" And I want to buy one.
Yes. A lot of the wrestlers like, "Where'd you get this? Where'd you get this?" And I was like, "Oh, I printed it." And here's what's funny. I emailed the graphic to Greg Price.
Yep.
And I said, "Hey, I made this. I printed myself a poster. If you want to sell this, go right ahead." And he was like, "No, I got enough posters." And I was like, "All right, cool."
That's typical Greg.
You know what I mean? But I was just like, I don't know him personally, but I was just like, "Hey, I made this. If you want to have it, have at it." You know, like I'm a equal opportunity fan. Maybe you'll print it on better paper than I'm going to get it printed on.
A lot of his 8x10 images, a good chunk of them over the years came from David and myself. He would he hit us up for images, and that's what he would go and we email them to him, and then he'd print those up and it'd be available to buy at the table.
Yeah. But I mean, realistically, you think about it, you're paying for a photo like $105 or $104 for the Horseman.
Yep.
And they signed the photo.
Yep.
That's such a crazy good deal.
It's a steal.
Oh, and he did, yeah. You know, or like, you know, I did just one-on-one with Tully. I did Too Cold Scorpio in the ring on Saturday night after he won the national title. They Dusty finished us and had a rematch the next night. But still, I mean, like that was such an amazing, that spoiled me, like I said. I haven't really been to another big convention like that until 2019. We did WrestleCon in New York. But in 2012, I went to New Jersey to see the Great Muta Russell for I think it's Pro Wrestling Syndicate, their 5th anniversary show. And Mil Mascaras was there. So are you familiar with Boyd Pierce?
Name's familiar.
He was, I believe he was a Texas ring announcer.
Okay.
And he had the photo cards that he did.
Okay.
Like 3x5 or whatever it was. And I've seen those going on eBay quite a bit. Recently, even people selling them for pretty big dollars or whatever. I bought a bunch of those off of him on eBay in like 2001 or 2002 or something like that. So I had the Mil Mascaras one. So I had him sign that. And I got a few other of those signed.
Nice.
Yeah. But Mil Mascaras wrestled that night. We had no idea he was going to wrestle. And it was just like, I'm going to watch Mil Mascaras and the Great Muta wrestle in the same night. Like,
yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Last time I had any involvement with Mil, we booked him for an appearance at the Wrestling Guy store in Los Angeles once. And so got to sit there for a couple hours with him while fans just lined up and came in. And, you know, you're in downtown LA. It's a hotbed for him. I mean, just Latino market, just come in and ate that up.
Yeah.
But,
he wrestled Kalisto, who was going by Samurai del Sol that night. Then he went later in WWE's Kalisto, but that's who he wrestled that night. And it was just like, and then George South wrestled on the card.
Oh yeah, George South wrestled every card.
Well, not anymore. He's retiring.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Who's the guy we saw that weekend? You know the guy who stole that weekend? Because we're going way off topic here, but the guy who stole that weekend when we saw, Daniel
Mike
Bryan
Jackson.
like that. Action Mike Jackson.
Action Mike Jackson.
Oh my God, that guy put on a show.
I had never heard of him, to be honest.
Neither had I.
So we went down there that weekend. And actually, are you familiar with Dan, Belt Fan Dan, as he used to go by, but the belt collector guy, Dan?
Yes, I don't know his name, but I know who you're speaking of. Yes.
So I met him at FanFest in 2009, and he was just like, wait till you see Action Mike Jackson. Like, I didn't know who he was when I met him, but we were just a couple guys from the Northeast down in North Carolina at a wrestling convention. We just stumbled into each other type of thing. And I was like, all right. And then the first night he wrestled a guy, and I was just like, wow, how old is he? What, 50, 60 years old? And he's flying around the ring.
Walking the ropes and just, I mean, he was amazing.
He wrestled both nights, and people went crazy for him.
Yep.
Absolutely crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
That ballroom was deafening because, I mean, with him, I mean, he was just, that guy put on a show.
My biggest regret ever from that fan fest is I'm standing in the packed room with all the fans, and I look across the way, and there's Tommy Young. And I didn't want to bother him, and I didn't want to, and the place was so packed, I'd have to step on people to get to him. But I wanted to meet Tommy Young so bad, and I didn't. And that's one of my biggest regrets is I just should have said screw it and walked over people and gone to meet Tommy Young.
Well, if mine wasn't personalized, I'd give you my 8x10. I have him signed.
Well, actually, okay. So I made contact with him, and he signed some NWO One to Raw.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I have a lot of multiple signatures on those cards. Like I have one card is Jimmy Garvin, Precious, and Tommy Young all signed.
Nice.
I got a lot of doubles with Ivan Koloff because he would sign stuff for $1 in return postage.
Oh, when he came to the Fan Fest, you get him all weekend for nothing.
Yeah, yes, yeah, he was there. That's right. Paul Jones through George South.
Yep.
I got all kinds of cards signed by Paul Jones, but my favorite NW1 number card I actually have that signed. It's signed by Paul Jones, Ivan Koloff, the Warlord, and the Barbarian.
Nice.
It was all four of them on one card. And I got all four of them to sign the card at different times.
So speaking of go back to cards now, do you get any of them ever get anything graded? Do you care about grading?
I didn't, honestly, I
because
never.
These are your personal collection that you have no intention of selling.
Yes.
So I mean,
Correct.
you don't have to go to PSA, which is regarded as like the standard, I guess. I mean, you can go for some pretty slabs with HGA, or you can get them in that tuxedo type thing with SGC if you want. I mean, there's a lot of cool options you have to really preserve your collection.
Realistically, until I met David Peck on Twitter, I didn't consider wrestling cards something you got graded until I saw his All-Stars collection.
Sure.
And I was just like, oh, people do this. But now watching people sending their cards off and they're gone for a year, or it's so backlogged right now because the card market's boomed so much. I probably wouldn't do it right now. I wouldn't want to risk not getting them back. Would you go with a PSA because you're looking for ultimate value out of it? Because it's kind of that they're the leader, with the or would you go with because you have a lot of cool vintage stuff basically? Would you go with like that people like that tuxedo look, they call it, with the SGC slabs, and they're pretty responsive and pretty on time with their stuff? I guess I'd have to look at the SGC slabs because I'm not real sure. My thought was PSA because they're the Cadillac of the market, if you will. Because realistically, and this is my thought process too behind that Mike Enos card and selling it and thinking, oh, I could get big money for it now. And someday I'll die, and if my kids don't throw them away, then what's going to happen with them? Sure. So maybe if I get them graded, they can sell them.
Sure.
I don't know.
Well, they could still either way, they could still sell them, and I don't think it really matters in the grading for you specifically because it's a PC for you. So it's like why spend a lot of money, at least if you get them slabbed by somebody, it's protected and saved forever basically. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of my cards, unfortunately, people have passed away, so it's like unless you want to pay big money on eBay and then risk it's a fake, if you will. That's the other reason why I don't want to buy off eBay, because
you never know.
I have trust issues.
we all have them.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where it's like, I love my collection. I have it divided up the way I have it divided up. There is a set. I kick myself all the time for not buying it. And it was probably 20 years ago. No, 15, 18 years ago, that ECW Japan set. Mm-hmm. I saw it on eBay for like $20 and I was like, oh, I'll get it next time it's posted. Never seen it posted again. Yeah. I heard Brian Myers just paid like $240 for it. Like I would love to have that because I have
one card from that set that my buddy Zan, Zan Mornings like that.
Yes.
Yeah. He wants I have a Raven one that he wants.
Oh yeah. See, I would love to get that signed.
Yeah.
I have there was a Mid-South put out a card set. Mm-hmm. And I had one card from the set that I found on eBay that I bought. It's Chris Champion card, and he was the champion. It's the only one I've ever seen from it. So I have that one card, but now he's passed away. So like,
what was it? Is that called the Unbeatable or something like that? Or
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I heard it's going for some crazy money. Like I just came across one in a binder not too long ago.
Oh, really?
The whole set. So I just.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting right behind me.
Yeah.
I got some episodes coming up, I think, pretty soon of people want to see these storage unit, my office unit, my office door finds that I keep finding because I moved things over the years and I've got it all here in Arizona now. And I've been going through looking for some stuff and I'm like, oh, I found this and I found that, I keep posting it's like that, But yeah, I mean, you should consider getting your stuff graded just to keep it, preserved. I mean,
yeah.
I got modern stuff here. I just got my first submission back. I did a video on it. I'm gonna release it pretty soon. Like I just did.
Nice.
This is HGA slabs.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, I see what you see now across the top. Yeah, I like that.
You know, I got the color matching ones like that, so it kind of matches the card. You know.
Oh, that's cool.
But
That's a good one too.
But these are ones I did early. I sent them in February, and then since then they've added a lot more features. You can actually have custom labels made now. So I've seen some where, like, if you want to have, like, you know, you say you sent a Hulk Hogan one, you can literally have one of Hulk Hogan with the yellow and reds like that, and it's showing him busting out like that in the slab, you know, in the label.
Well, that was the other thing too. As I'd always thought it cost a fortune to get your stuff graded.
It will. I mean, if you over time, it will cost you a fortune. It's like that. It probably will, but it also increases the value. And if you're a personal collector, it's nice to display them that way. You have to redisplay everything.
Right, but I mean, like, individual cards, like to get like a card, or like, you know, I thought it'd be like $100 to get a card graded.
Depends on the card. It depends on what you want to get.
Yeah.
You can actually find someone and do bulk submissions with them probably when that opens up again. Get a lower rate. You know, go in with other people. You know, if you have a subscription, a lot of times it's you know, like with PSA, I have like a silver subscription, which allows me to, you know, the time like $12 a card or something like that.
Yeah.
But I had to have 20.
That's not too bad.
I had to have a 20 card minimum. You know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So it can't add up.
Which makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I can.
But you get some of your babies, your pride and joys, and send them in and get them slabs, see what you like, and you know, it's gonna be cool. You know, keep your stuff protected.
I know sometimes I see like the Sting rookie card that, you know, the NWA Wonder Rama one, like that seems to go for quite a bit, and
Sure.
I have one of those signed.
Sure.
I mean, it's
and
just
also for you,
sitting in a binder.
I would imagine for you, it's not about the grade for you though. I don't think it would. I mean, it
No.
sounds to me like it wouldn't be like, I don't care if mine gets a 10 or a 5. I mean, as long as I know what it's the memory of getting it signed and blah, blah, blah. And you have your own story behind it. And then having it encapsulated like that would be kind of cool for you, I think. I don't know. I'm not trying to sell you. I don't have any. I have no stock in the company.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. No, it's just one of those things where I've thought about it over the years where it's like, I see these cards going for big money and I'm like, oh, I have that signed and my card's in great shape. I wonder if I could get, you know, what kind of money could I get for it? And then it's like, but then I wouldn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'd want to sell it. And the one card I did sell, that I decided to sell, I regret it.
No, it's not the one we're talking about today.
No, it was a Tessa Blanchard Stardom card that I got signed at her in person at a Limitless Wrestling show here in Maine, and I had 3 Stardom cards signed by her. I've never seen the card for sale again since I sold it, because my thought was like, maybe I can buy it again and maybe I can get it signed again.
Sure.
If I see her again, type of thing. So I regret selling it.
This is the wrestling business, for crying out loud. Never say never. You'll find it.
Right. But so that's that I always kind of fall back on. But then when this Enos one came up and I posted it, and all of a sudden I got inundated with DMs, it was just like, and then I didn't have that same feeling of like, I'll regret this. It was more like, okay.
Yeah, it was a bonus card for you anyways, like that, it seemed like, but
yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to track this guy down now and figure out if I can get him on and talk to him at least, or like that, or at least have some kind of an email conversation with him or something.
Yeah, well,
I want to know more about it.
I don't have that contact information anymore, so I legit don't have it. So yeah, the computer was on crashed and everything's gone.
That's okay. You got what you needed.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So,
well, man, I appreciate you guys making some time to talk about this elusive card now. That is a one of one now.
No, my pleasure.
It's a one of one.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And you know, hopefully get some more people out there to talk about some of these elusive cards. We'll see. This set, these WCW autograph cards is the sets that just keep on giving, because here we are over 20 years later and we're still talking about these sets. We're still finding new things about these sets.
Exactly. Yeah. That's one of the things I like a lot about finding the history of those things. Like when David Peck will post like a magazine picture of what the card they used on the card. Sure. I love stuff like that. I would love to see the same thing for like the WWF set. You know what I mean? That 1985, the O-Pee-Chee one, the Tops one. I love the history of that stuff like that. And that's like watching these WCW cards. I mean, if the, Brian Myers and Matt Cardona can do 2, 3, 4 hour videos on the history of LJNs, the history of Hasbro's, which
Sure.
I've watched both of them and they're fantastic. I would love to see someone do a deep dive history of that WCW set.
Yeah.
Just because of how these cards keep popping up. And maybe that will inspire more of these to be discovered.
It's funny you say that. It's funny. I've already put out some feelers. I'm waiting to hear back from someone that could hopefully answer a lot of these questions for us. And really,
that would be amazing.
I'm really digging deep about those 3 specific sets that Topps put out. Hopefully,
Nice.
I mean, I'm not teasing anything. I'm just saying I'm just saying that the wheel's been put in motion, and I'm hopeful that this person can come through.
Yeah, see, that would be fascinating. I'd love to learn more about that.
You and me both. And a lot of other people.
Yes,
So
definitely a lot of other people
would love to know more about this. So, all right, Mike. Well, I really appreciate your time on this. I know we've talked.
Yeah, like I said, my pleasure.
And I hope people learn something from this. And where can people find you? Let people know so they can find you. I mean, you've got you've got podcasts and things that you like to go promote.
Sure. I got a podcast. It's called What Did You Watch This Week? It's not wrestling related. It's my buddy, my best friend, and I, John. We've known each other since my mom sold his mom Avon when we were kids. We literally sit down and talk about what we watched this week. I think this is our 6th year. We're up to episode. We just recorded, actually, episode 267 just dropped while I was talking to you.
Oh, nice.
Tonight. You can find me on Twitter. I'm Superstar ML. And then on my blog is called thewrestlinginsomniac.com. And I post pictures of my signed cards as I get them. And I talk about how I got the card, where I mailed it to, if I mailed it, if I got it in person, and then a little bit about what set the card comes from, And I post about the live events I go to and just interesting things I like about wrestling,
Awesome.
Yeah. And if you want to buy my book, I just wrote a book called Limitless Wrestling, the First 5 Years. You can find it on Amazon.
Nice.
And the day I tweeted that the book is available for sale that morning, that night it was number 3 on Amazon for bestsellers in the pro wrestling category.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I was amazed, absolutely amazed. And they just talked about it. Smart Mark Sterling bought a copy apparently, and he was talking about it on the Major Wrestling Figures podcast the other day. Excellent. And so if you want to buy my book, that was a year-long passion project, and it's on Amazon, or you can reach out to me and you can buy it from me. Excellent. That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Anybody has any comments about this, post it below. I'd love to hear some feedback about this episode. You can find everything you want to know about wrestling cards for us at WrestlingTradingCards.com. Everything is going to be on there. The new site, I keep talking about it for months and months, but I'm expecting any moment now that the domain transfer will move over and it'll be live with the new layout and everything. And I've been plugging away at new sets, and I think I added, I added over 60 some odd new sets I've already added in the last week. And I can't wait to see it. I've got great guys like Chuckster and Paul. These guys have been, just sending me checklists of all the indie stuff. And so they're all it's all getting posted. Are you putting the Lucha Libre cards on there? All of it. Nice. Everything. Nice. And the site will be fully interactive. So when you go to a checklist page, even go to the year, like, 1999, so like that, you can go there and you can comment about the list of stuff that's there, like, hey, I think this list is missing something or whatever. And it's fully interactive. So it'll be a way for people to go into a checklist and have discussions and conversations about the set they want. That's awesome. I like that feature. It's all blog based. All of it's blog based. Yep. Nice. So, I like that a lot. I will have everything's going to be static pages. And then once you get into the years and then the checklist, it's going to be all blog based. And then the big project behind the scenes will be re-uploading all the images again. And the image will be all blogs themselves. So you can actually talk about a specific card. Nice. That's going to be, I can click on that one Rama set and click on that Sting card you like and select that and talk specifically about that Sting card. What I want to know is how, and how can you tell the difference between the 87 market release that they did and because the 88s? The 87s are going to have a brown cardboard back as opposed to a white back on the 88s.
And the 87s are only numbered to 50. It's the first 50 cards.
Yep.
But it's a brown back. It's like a brown, they call it a brown craft back. I have the set. I don't have it here. It's in my storage unit. But it's totally distinguishable. You can totally tell the difference.
It is. 100%. Okay.
100%. And when they released the big set in 88, it's all of a white back finish.
Okay. You should put like the same card side by each, front and back.
I could do that. Yeah, I can do that.
On a page, just so you can say, this is how you can tell the difference. And apparently my doing this with my hands is front and back. Sorry.
Front and back. Front and back. Yeah.
Front and back, everybody. Yeah. I'm a hand stalker.
I think we even denote that anyways in the information section on both sets like that. You can,
fair enough.
I mean, it's a good idea to actually put the front and back. But again, it could be something where you can go to that set and actually someone can post that front and back as well. So I can show the difference. But But anyway,
a place where people could share their signed cards.
100%, man. Just more things for me to police and monitor. That's all. That's what I do in my life. So. All right, guys. Well, I think we're just about done.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. And we'll talk soon. All right, Mike? All right. We are out.